Alright, so we found the monster. Found it because I was running through scanning and walked right into the water and it popped up. We are at a very different angle than we looked at it originally. I think this is where they intended us to kind of go into the water here. So it should be like right in front of us, right where I'm pointing right now. I'm going to let that stuff fade out. I'm going to try and really lighten up everything in the area so it's going to light itself up. But it does something very unique that we didn't notice the first time. It stands up and then it falls over. We never notice that. And then it's sort of sinking into the water.
Yeah, that's when we get out of the water is when it sinks. But it stands up. Oh.
There's more than one.
Oh my god, There was at least 3 of them there.
Yeah. That actually really kind of scared me.
Oh.
And that's us being dragged down, I think. Yeah. It really ran. I tried to get out of it, but I hit the wrong key.
Ooh.
So I'm going to try that again
well,
in a
there's
second.
3 cages right there, which means there might be only 3 in this area.
Yeah, let's
and
take a look.
And that's approximately where they're getting out, is next to those cages.
Yeah, well, let's see. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to step in and then step back out once they stand up.
Well, the problem is that one loads up, and then when the other one starts to load up, that one starts running at you.
Yeah, there are 2, and they no, there were 3 for sure. There were definitely 3, and
see,
they just fall
over. The first time
over.
there were 3. Yeah, don't get too close to that one.
Well, give me a second here. That was actually kind of scary. That thing moved really fast.
Yes.
We never saw it move like that because we always
were
running.
Up at, yeah.
We were either running away from it or we were right next to it.
Yeah, it's. But yeah, I'm wondering if there's 3 in this area because of the 3 cages.
Maybe. I didn't even notice there were 3 before. However, I do remember one of them popping up. Shoot, come on, light up.
There's not coming yet. Are you still in the water? There's 1. 2.
When I step out, they fall.
Yeah, but you kind of, and their bodies come out, and it looks like their soul leaves them. Because you can see that area above. There's 1, 2, and then this one will start running at you.
Yeah, because I got out of the water. There's at least 2.
There was a 3rd one the other time, but the other one started running at you so quickly. That's the 2. There's the 3rd one right there.
Yeah, it's how long you stay in. It's how long you stay in.
Well, I wonder if there's. Did you want to try to see if a 4th one shows up if we stay in the water line?
We're too close. That one's going to get me. What I'm wondering is later on in the game when we're doing the jumping puzzle part of this, the real, jumping from place to place trying to avoid the water like it's the lava game. If you get in the water, you hear it scream. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if they always spawn here and they run to where you are. So, following that theory, I'm going to get into the game a little bit further and we're going to see what we can find.
Well, I'm kind of curious if we can get farther away from them before we get in the water. If
there really
more
isn't
than
much farther
3,
away here we can get.
I'm wondering if more than 3 will show up because there's only 3 cages in the water, and I'm wondering if it's just the souls of those 3. There's a 4th one.
No, that's the 3rd one.
That's the 3rd cage?
I think so. Yeah, it's the 3rd cage right there.
So yeah, I'm wondering if it's limited to...
This is about as far as we can get away from it here. Okay? So, I mean, I can step down into this. I'm not sure where they're going to be, though.
Way over there.
Just 1 that time. I'm wondering if it's just a goofy glitch of where we are that we're activating it multiple times.
I don't know. Unless it's like It activates the one that's closest to it, and then just that area activates 3. Ooh, that one came from back there.
Yeah, couldn't actually see
And there
it.
was
They're
a
in a weird
second one
angle.
there, yeah. Looked like there might have been 3 there.
I wasn't expecting it to come around the corner like that. There's one, which is not where the others were before. 2, they're activating in different locations. And a third one way back there.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, if it is based on how many cages there are, the areas with more than one cage in the water could indicate that many creatures.
Yes. Which, it's weird that there would be more creatures, because, I mean, we really don't need more creatures. Right.
So this area could potentially have at least 2.
And they could come from different directions. Now, I've just saved, so I'm going to see if I can... I can sort of see it through the wall, I think. Yeah, here they come.
Do you see how many?
No, I don't.
I see 2. There's 2 cages there. But no, there was 3. 1, 2. Oh, there no big one. There's the 3rd.
Oh, shit. They can't go on land, so I'm actually kind of safe here to study these things.
If they don't generate, like, on your right. Or your left, excuse me.
Well, I think you're right, is that they're popping up near the caves.
Yeah, those cages, I think, are where they died, which is why they're spawning somewhat close to them. And I'm thinking the amount of cages determines how many generate.
Right, because the monsters all seem to spawn near where they're... there it is.
And they do kind of have
4. 5. Let's see the 5th.
That should be the 5th one right there. There's a whole bunch piled up right there on themselves.
Right. And that one's just kind of sitting there. Interesting. Creepy as balls,
so
but interesting.
how many were those? 6?
You said 5. I counted a total of 5, and then you said one more. I did not see the one that you saw after that.
So yeah, that might have been. I only see 3 cages there, so I guess it is not determinant on how many. Here's one spawning there. It did not seem to have any spawning in that little cove area that you were in originally.
Ooh, I'm off the wall.
Oh my god, that is so scary. And the entire place is glitching like it's
Well, I was still standing in the water.
Yeah, but it was glitching like it was a special. God, those things are creepy looking. We gotta.
If I remember correctly, I have to go this way.
But yeah, having the 5 or 6 stacked on each other.
Yeah, I didn't realize before that there was more than one. I knew that it spawned in different locations, but I didn't realize that there was more than one.
Man, that and like.
Purging cages, yes.
It was kind of. They kind of had a hip to them, so it almost looked like they were implying that they were female as well.
You may be pulling a little extra information to this.
Might be pulling a little extra. Don't stay zoomed over there. They might be coming from your left.
Came from somewhere I didn't see, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm wondering wondering if that spotted area is actually you, since you were the spotted red at the end.
That's what I'm thinking, actually, is that's your body being pulled down by these evil spirits and things like that.
Why did it do that weird...
It does that when we die. It removes the stuff that we scanned in after we went through stuff. So I had done a burst over in this direction. I don't even remember where we are. Right. Alright, so what we did was we reloaded the spot that we ended the game with when we left the lake. We're right at the end of the lake. I have the enhanced scanner now. And I'm going to...
Not too much enhanced. It's pretty much the same where it was before.
No, it's the enhanced scanner.
Oh, yeah, because we got the enhanced in this area.
Right. We don't have the ability to tab, which actually would be real interesting to see here, but
I think we'd have to go through that.
We'd have to walk through it manually to get it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to walk in the water and I'm going to see if there are some here.
There should be some here. It sounds like they are. But, because, like, there's a cage there. I really should not be zoomed in this. Oh, there's one there.
Where? I don't see it.
Over to your... Out. There are two are spawning too.
Oh, crap. It was right there.
There was two to your left and one to your right. There's like a whole bunch of cages right there on land.
Yeah, on land. That's...
But there were 6 that spawned in an area with only 3 cages.
Right.
So unless there are 2 per cage for each area, the amount of cages don't matter.
Look.
This is where 2 of them spawn, so you don't want to be over here.
No, I really do.
Oh, well, this is kind of the blank area, yeah, but,
I really do want to be over here, because this is what I'm looking for.
But yeah, there were 2 literally right by that rock.
Much further.
At this point, they could be spawning behind you. Yep, they're right there. There's one there, one there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did not see those.
Yep, they would have killed you. There's one over there. You should not be zoomed in because you have some to your right and left.
Oh, yeah, there was one right there.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm covering his butt by saying, hey, you know, you're zooming in, focusing on an area where nothing is spawning. Behind you?
Yeah, right there. No, I see it. It's right up in the upper. Several.
There's one running behind
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, he was trying to flank your butt.
All right. Well, that to me, that is super cool.
Yeah.
To me, and the fact that they are that detailed and only appear here, but seem to be related to the main character because you can see his hand right there on the screen, and he's holding the scanner. That's his physical hand. But at the end, when he goes to grab it, he's nothing but little dots and then screams. So it implies that, wow, it just really got kind of dark in here.
He's kind of... The other thing is when he's flying back to his tent...
You see that statue.
Yeah, well, it's like either that statue or the reflection of one of these, or one of these following him, or it's him as one of them. So...
Cryptic has about 80 theories here. My theory, straight theory is that he's actually died, but he died outside of the cave. And what is actually in there is a scan of him inside of the scanner, reliving the last information of the scanner. It's not so much like his soul is somehow trapped inside the scanner because it was scanned, but he went on to live his life outside of this and probably die. But he doesn't know how he died because the scanner didn't record him dying because he was outside of the cave already. Now, that's just my theory. Now, there may be an actual storyline
that
somewhere.
will help you make it feel a little less sad for you. That's
yes,
good.
That will help me make it a little less sad.
The story itself is vague enough where you can kind of theorize your own
It is
things.
pretty vague.
So, I mean, it's...
There may be, like, Wikipedia or something may actually have the story so far. Hold on a second.
He is going to die. Because I am no longer going to help him and remind him not to just, turn his back on them.
Yeah, they got close, too.
They got super close. That was 3 of them.
Yeah. But there may be a story on, like, Wikipedia or something. I mean, we all know video games nowadays, they don't necessarily have to tell you the story. A lot of the fun parts is figuring it out yourself. If you have one, reply in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I love conspiracy theories.
He's gonna try to die.
I'm not gonna try and die. I want to see if I can activate those.
Their bodies are...
Oh, I did activate them.
And you're just not paying attention to the ones that might be...
I don't hear any others.
Well, that's still the bodies of the other
No,
ones.
that's not. That's the cave we've scanned.
Keep in mind they can activate behind you.
Oh, they activated right there. It's super cool. I mean, this is a lot better view than we ever had of them before.
Oh yeah, we were just way too close before, and honestly, the fact that we counted 6 in the other area was just so creepy, and how they kind of were on top of each other, wiggling like, oh god, scary. Oh.
But I think that ends our Sombre adventure and this nature video about the ghosts of the... Okay, wait. I went through the game afterwards, just looking around. I found some things, so I want to go through some of these, because there are things I didn't notice. Now, what I did right here is I started the new game with New Game Plus. You get all of the updates and things like that. So let's just get through this real quick. Let this thing do its thing.
It is kind of cool because it does actually, some of this New Game Plus stuff actually adds to the storyline a little bit.
It really does.
So it's really kind of cool.
Now, most of the stuff for New Game Plus doesn't, I mean, it's different. We're going to go through a couple of videos and show you things. But one of the things I found for sure, I was waiting on her to get ready for us to go over to my parents' house or something. I was just playing through this game because I really thought this game was really interesting. And I noticed something, and you can sort of see it right there in the middle of the screen. But when you switch over, that is your body. That is the character's body. And it looks like that one that you find at that one point. The hat's not the same, but this is your body right here. I have no idea what happened. It almost looks like he fell off of like
he was exploring, maybe climbing up to see if there's anything past that section there, and he just fell backwards, it looks like.
Yeah, or he had a heart attack or something. I don't know many people that land in this position. I mean, the body position's a little weird. Nope, I can't steer.
No, but it looks like his back is also bent on a rock. So he might have broke his back, too.
Oh, yeah. I definitely don't... Having been in a cave and fallen in a cave, it's literally... There's no soft surfaces in a cave anywhere. No. You are surrounded by rock. So I have no doubt that this killed him. But finding this here... It is visible, like I said, if you turn off the scanner, you can make out the outline.
I think the higher resolution scanner does help a little bit in finding it.
It definitely does, especially like the hand here. Now, why there's this shadow here, I don't know.
And it's not letting you scan it in.
Yeah, I think I'm at a weird angle for it.
But yeah, that is really, really weird.
And it is visible. I went back and played on New Game, just normal New Game. And it is visible there, but without context, without knowing to look for it.
But you can also see that in front of you, is where you get your scanner. So you would literally have to turn around and come back towards the tent to get and scan it like crazy to even be able to see it.
Yeah, you would, and you'd have to almost know that you're looking for it, because I mean, here, okay, we can see it, and I could see it before. You can kind of pick it out if you're at the right angle, but if not, it doesn't really show up. You have no reason to scan as in depth as I did to find this when you know you're obviously supposed to be going that direction.
Yeah, and the resolution scanner made like those harder lines around the body to make it even more clear. So it's one of those things that it's there if you want to find it, but it's very, very hard to find right away.
And when I found that, I really wanted to point that out because I haven't seen. I've looked through a couple of other videos of people. They're all very good. This game is very easy to make a good video on because the game itself is so good. But a lot of people did some really good videos and things like that. And I only noticed one video where somebody pointed out the body.
Yeah.
And I watched through several videos and nobody noticed the witches. Mm-hmm. There were entire people that made it through the lake without ever activating a witch. And I'm sitting there, getting myself dragged under every few seconds.
Well, you somehow managed to get it so it would like spawn right there.
That's because I jumped in at the wrong spot. I went over something I wasn't supposed to. And everybody else, being better video game players, they all were like instinctively, oh, you go left. And I'm like, no, I'm going right.
I think I also told you to go right.
Yeah, that's the other problem, is she's my navigator.
Hey, it made for better video.
It did. Now, I went through the entire game up until the point where we get the material scanner, just to go through and see if there's certain things that are in there and does the material scanner make a difference? And it definitely does make a difference. Not so much in the game itself, but it just helps you appreciate how much time and effort they put into this game.
This is a really complex story.
And well, not only that, but the material scanner makes the structure, certain things stand out, and definitely makes the prison that you were lost in a whole lot easier. So what we've got some video recordings of that, because it took me forever to go through. I've seen people play and beat this game in an hour and a half, and I'm like, I didn't even go through the intro in an hour and a half.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It's like, if you don't scan a lot of the stuff, you miss a lot of these details to the story, too. So, not that you always do, because they put enough in the text that you get some of it, but there's so many layers. Just way too many layers.
But what I'm going to do now is, since I've already recorded them, we're going to load up some of those videos, and we're going to kind of comment on some of the things that I found, so I can show you some of the things that I found. And there is one other really creepy thing that I found. That was another one where I think you were in the shower, and I'm just sitting there scanning away, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? What did I find? And
I was at work.
Yeah, you were at work, so it took me like 2 hours. That would have been an awesome shower for you, but it was like 2 hours. See that log? So, give me a second. We're going to load up that video, and we're going to comment on those in a second. So, hold on. Alright, now the creepiest thing that I noticed, other than the witches, which were creepy, was inside the temple, where when you walk in, it starts this little thing about saying this is where they performed their ceremonies, and it's this big kind of auditorium with an altar in the center, and it comments that, the more he scanned around, the more he revealed. Now, if you're like me, the first time you played through, you went in, you're like, wow, this is kind of creepy. And then you just kind of ran away. But there's something else. You have to get on the altar itself. You have to physically jump onto the altar. And that can be a pain in the neck. But once you're up there, you can start to scan some things in. And it takes some time. But while you're in there, the screen sort of like flickers from time to time. But once you get on the altar, you'll start to notice some of the things that are there. So let me hop up on the altar here in the video. We'll just click this. I'm not sure if I hopped up the first time. There we go. And I almost missed this the first time, because if you're on the altar, it sort of looks like there's these shadows that are there. But if you hop off the altar, you're able to scan, because it's almost like in the computer there's this physical thing that's there, but if you're past it, you scan. But if you're in front of it, the scan hits that, and it creates this shadow on the wall, which is what you're getting.
So, yeah, it's like you're scanning through that one there.
Yeah.
Now, but, yeah, so that one you're able to cover up by not being on the altar.
Right, but I'm noticing that there's another one in the background, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this thing... Let's let this video speed up a little bit so I can show you a little bit of the end result as I'm sitting here. So now, unfortunately, the first time I did this, I had no idea what I was looking at, and I hopped off and started to scan the background. Then I kind of finally realized, I noticed one of the shadows I was looking at had an actual shape. So I hopped up on the altar just to scan the room itself more to see what's going on, and this is where I started to notice that those shapes actually were intended to mean something. Like
that one?
Yeah, like that one.
There's, oh my goodness.
And then this is where I started to notice, where I'm looking at it.
It's like, oh, that's a person.
Yeah. This is a person sitting there that we're scanning. It's like, oh my gosh, that's an outline of a person holding something. It's like, this is creepy.
Very creepy.
Now, one thing I did notice watching other people's games, other people's recordings, is a video card does make a massive difference. Much, much more than I realized, because I don't have a graphics processor. I'm using the onboard video card. The other people that were playing this, they had probably high-end graphics cards, and that's going to be the first thing I buy for my computer. But I ain't got the money to do it right now. But when you have a high-end graphics card, these little resolution dots are so much smaller and so much finer.
He's right by the altar.
Yeah, no, and there's a couple others that are right by the altar. So what we'll probably do is I'm gonna let this video speed through, because I scanned everything. I literally was at this for like an hour.
And how many did you count?
I think I counted at least 12. There's 12 different individuals that are in this room, both on the second gangway and around the altar and things like that. So I'm gonna fast forward this video and sort of point out some of the different places that there are people once I've got it scanned in. And it was really creepy, because I play this game during the day, as you can obviously see from the light coming through the window. And she's at work, and I'm just playing this game, and it was just like, this is creepy, and it is daytime. So I really loved it. So I'm gonna let the video go through a little bit and catch up with you guys after we've gotten it scanned.
Now on this part you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 people up there on that top part.
I've got 5.
Okay.
We have 5. Now there are things hanging off of the ceiling that are creating shadows on the wall too. But those people are there, and the best part is, if you've got them scanned and you go up on the gangplank, it is perspective based. That gangplank really distorts their shadow, and you can be standing right there and you don't see it. The other thing I noticed, I don't have a good video of it, but because I just sort of noticed it, those glitches that sort of appear when there's a person, if you scan the person while they're glitching but then stop once they stop, there is a perfect shadow outline of them on the wall, and it's super creepy.
Yeah, we kind of started doing that with the guy with the pickaxe, but then
the beginning of the mine.
But then we scanned back over that section, unfortunately. But yeah, we would have had a perfect shadow of him.
Yeah, going through. Like where you get to the point where the 2 guys are throwing the one guy off, which is actually not far past this. I just happened to do a burst just as they were throwing, and it created a perfect shadow outline of it. Now, of course, I wasn't recording at the time. I was just goofing off.
but that is one of the things that's really cool about this game is that you can have like the shadows of these glitches.
Here's a good shot right here where there's just more people around this altar that are just appearing as I'm slowly scanning this thing in over the course of like an hour. If you've got a better video card, though, I have noticed, like I said, with better video cards, the scanning process just seems to be so much smoother. And the burst actually appears to be faster. I don't know if people were speeding up their videos or not, but the burst for me takes 4 seconds. I timed it. And they were pulling it off in like 2 or 3. So and yes, I timed it. I'm that anal. But it's just interesting to see that with better equipment, this game does become different. It is easier, which I think might have had something to do with why other people were able to run through this game at a much faster speed than I was able to do it, just because their scanning was more efficient than mine was.
More efficient, but my goodness, look at those people. It's just like, yeah. And it's kind of interesting that they're kind of wobbly, so you can tell they're like a little bit in front of the rock because their shadow is distorted on the rock. It's such a cool thing.
I never put that together. I did put together that they are kind of wobbled, but I didn't think that it's more the contour of the rock behind them.
Yeah, you're only seeing their shadow. You're not actually seeing them. So they're wobbled and distorted because they're standing, like that guy is like standing approximately where that bench would be. So his shadow is what's casting, and it's what's being distorted is the light. That's his shadow, not him. It's very cool.
There are a lot of people in here, an awful lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I counted at least 12. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually thinking my estimate.
I think you originally told me you thought there was about 18.
Yeah, I think my original estimate was actually higher because 1940. Like here we're looking, that's actually 2 people, one in front of one bench, one in front of another. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what scanner it was. You could have seen this in the original game the normal way. But the material scanner, to me, just sort of makes him pop out a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you switch, because he does switch occasionally, you can see them very well still, so.
Right, so we're going to let this video go a little bit more, get to the end of it real quick so we can see the final product of everything that's been there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's almost creepier that it's just their shadow and not them, in my opinion.
Now
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, because the other ones, if there's something physically there, it's a different color, but it just being their shadow, it's kind of got this whole creepy, haunted, the atomic bomb shadows, it kind of gives me that kind of a feel. I know it's kind of weird, but it gives like that kind of a creepy vibe thing. But anyway, you were going to say?
Now, one thing I did notice, this was the part where I noticed in the game, because like on the gangplank, I scanned the crap out of the gangplank, but as I moved the gangplank off screen and started to scan other things, some of what I had scanned started to fade away. It's always enough there to see it, but the gangplank has definitely lost a lot of its resolution, and other things that I've scanned have sort of lost their resolution.
But it seems like it's only the shadows that really seem to
fade. It is everything.
It is
everything. I've researched it a lot in other areas. I've had a lot of time on my hands.
Okay.
Which is not true. I haven't had a lot of time on my hands. I've just dedicated it to this because I enjoyed it so much. It may be a video card thing, or it may just be a programming thing where it's, it doesn't store as much finite detail. The idea, I think we spent a lot more time walking through this slowly than the game might have actually been intended, but
you can still see enough detail to know that, oh my god, this is this is the guy being sacrificed looking at all of these people.
Yeah, and you're in the guy's standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking now my estimate is probably about 18 people in here. I will go through and count in the video. I'm not going to do it right now, but I will go through and count, and I'll put a number up on screen so that you can tell exactly how many people there are. But it was super creepy. This was one of the things that I found that was just such a nice touch, and I think a lot of people just ran right through it in the game. And even some of the Let's Play videos that I've seen, they ran right through it. Some didn't. Some didn't. I'll be honest. I'm not by far not the first person to do this. But it was just really interesting to see this many people and things like this.
They hinted at it, but they didn't tell you specifically to do it. So it was one of those things where, you could have missed.
Yeah. And I love games where it's like, you can go through the whole game and never discover all the secrets unless you go back and you do it slowly. And to me, having those little details in there not only gives it a little bit of replay value, because, like I said, I went through the entire game again with the scanner upgraded so that I could see things like this. This wouldn't have come out as clearly without the material scanner. And to me, it was just really interesting to see that. And there's a couple other things I want to point out. Like I said, the prison made it a whole lot easier to go through the prison. There was nothing really special in the prison. But one thing that I did notice was the exterior of the temple. So let me get to that part in the video, and we will cover some of the things I found in that. Alright, so where we are right now is this is like the entrance to the temple, and you're walking up the hill, and there's the temple in front of you. But if you turn around, there's another sort of collapsed temple behind you, and as you're looking at it, there are actual like skeletons of bodies or something like that carved in there. It was really hard to get a detailed shot of it, but it is definitely skeletons. And it doesn't seem to matter which scanner mode you used, but it was just really creepy to see that. And you can get more detail on the layout of the temple and things like that. Things that just didn't show up in the original scanner.
Well, I think it was the high resolution is what helped with the skeleton showing up.
Yeah, you're probably very right. I did not go back in the normal game to see if I could get the skeletons in that. It's just, I'm too slow at this game to go through it.
You might have been able to see that there was a pattern, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, high resolution and burst scan really helps. You can tell that there's a lot more. There's trees, which is interesting because having gotten through the game and understanding the geography a little bit of this cave, you were really underground. And just to have trees and roots and things like that growing is kind of weird, but
I wonder if they brought them down.
It's possible they could have. I don't know if a tree will grow in firelight, but it doesn't really matter. But one of the other things I wanted to do is just, the first time we played the game through, we had just gotten through with the lake and being chased by the monsters, and we went right into the river. So for me, who actually played the game and found the monsters and was killed by the monsters several times,
I scared him.
and she scared me. We get into this area that is nothing but water and this tiny boat, and I am creeped out.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And it truly is beautiful. And I ran through it at high speeds.
And you can navigate this time. Holy cow. You're not hitting the walls like you were.
I know, I hit the wall several times. We're just in a good spot.
Oh, several times less so than the first time.
Yeah, well, the first time I was freaked out that I was expecting like a plesiosaur to come up and just like down the boat. Because I still hadn't figured out what the heck the witches were. I thought they were like, she said she saw a fin. I thought it was a person, but it was a big person.
Well, when they come up, they're kind of like in a triangle shape.
Yeah, they're hunched over and their legs are out, and they kind of do this. But yeah, I just wanted to take a little time to appreciate
this beautiful area.
Yeah, the lake, or not the lake, I did that twice, the river, which was just really a pretty part of this game. And one that we rushed through because, I was stressed out from the previous one.
And we heard that scream, which actually happened to be behind us.
Yeah.
In front.
The scream where I'm about to go into the cave and it screams. I'm like, I ain't going in there. Nope, that ain't happening. But yeah, this was, in my opinion, a truly beautiful game.
Oh yes.
One of the things I noticed watching other walkthrough people was I think we might have been saying this game wrong. We've been saying Scanner Sombre, which is what it looks like it's spelled to me. Other people are saying Scanner Sombre. English.
I suppose we could look it up real quick.
I don't care. I don't care that much. I'm just pointing it out. English is my native tongue. That doesn't mean I speak it well. And if you've read the descriptions that I've written, it doesn't mean I write it well either. And our Twitter account is almost always me. So, yeah, it definitely shows that there is a lack of advanced English literature in my life. But I don't know if it's called Scanner Sombre. I don't know if it's called Scanner Sombre. All I know is it was a beautiful game. I'm actually kind of sad to see it end because this was our first game, which feels weird because we've been posting videos for we've been recording videos for 4 months now and posting for 2. And it feels weird to finally be finishing our first game, and at the same time I'm kind of sad because this was a beautiful game and was a real interesting
And
first
technically
step.
we have finished series before we finished this one.
Yeah, we finished smaller series like Henry Stickmin and things like that, but yeah, I just thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun for me.
It's been such a wonderful story. It's
this
just a journey.
Yeah, this was a really creepy story, a really creepy journey, and at the same time it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you play this game, I hope you take the time to appreciate it. Don't try to run through this game. You're not going to enjoy it as much if you just run through it. Take time and actually explore the game. That's what it's for. That's what it's supposed to be, is you're exploring this game. And if you do it like that, it can be truly beautiful. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Good luck. Have fun. Bye-bye.